So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is our live stream with live people having a natter in chat. It's recorded for TV and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. So I'm working in the Hannah Karlzon Magical Dawn, and I'm scratching colour in, and then I'm going to activate it later. So last week I scratched this colour in with the Neos, and I have no idea. Oh, I have a rough idea, but I don't have a set idea how it's going to go. So I'm going to scratch some colour in this one, and I've started with Imperial Purple 23. Now, I must admit, I do like some really bright, vibrant colours, and in, I think it was Daydreams, I do have some kind of really bright colours. These are the Hydrus, and I do like these colours. I've remembered these colours, and again, sometimes you can do that. Oh, hi Shalene, welcome to Bunny's Designs, Melody Bob, King Doyle, anybody else, welcome back. I had a bit of a blip earlier. So I really like these. These were the Peerless, I think, or they had the Hydrus. And then I've had to go with some other colours. No, they're in here somewhere. So I've had a bit of a play in here. But what I tend to do, these are the Peerless, so they are Peerless. I love these vibrant colours. And I had to go with the Inktober as well. So there's lots of different things I'm doing in this book, but I kind of forget pages. So what I've decided to do is, in the 3 new books that I bought, Magical Dawn, Summer Nights, and I can't remember what this one is. This one. Oh, Seasons. I decided I'm going to work page and work through the book page by page. So if I don't like it, I'm still going to work on it. And then I'm not going to lose any pages. And I started that with this one. So this was it. A new method that I'm doing is scratching colour in, and then I'll be going into using just a damp brush. So you could do this if you're going away. You could scratch your colour in the Neos, or the Derwent watercolour pencils, or the Inktober pencils, or Caran d'Ache Neos, or any colour of water-based crayon or pencil you have. You could scratch your colour in. Now you do have to do 2 things. You have to think about colour a little bit, because obviously what we normally do is we colour on, we activate it, we see what its true colour is, and then we add another colour to it. This way you're not doing that, you're kind of working blind. So although once I get back and it's dry, I can activate these colours, and if I want them extra I can go on, and the best thing about it is it will be a few days later, so it'll be perfectly dry. So it doesn't have to be spoiled. It's a watercolour, it will move again, but it's a good idea to, once you've activated it and it's wet, not to touch it for a few days till it's dried again. So I'm looking for this, and I think I might actually take these when I go to Ireland at the end of next month. And by that time I've probably scratched an awful lot of colour in them. I haven't put any paper on this side because it's obviously plain, and there is a few marks here. Now whether that's because I was kind of catching it or not, I don't know. I don't think there's any other colour, but if you do this method you need to put a piece of greaseproof paper, tracing paper, baked parchment on a roll, just cut it and put them in, or print paper, anything to stop the colour I put on there rubbing off on here. And if you do that, then you will have a book with lots of pieces of paper between it, but it's going to do it. Now I don't think these are going to run like the Neos. These are kind of not quite as crayony. It's a different binder, so you probably find that this method, this will not move, whereas if you did that on the Neos, you probably find it would. And it's only an experiment, it's just something that I thought of doing, and I actually watched an old video for last year and I thought about the idea of doing it, but I forgot. So this time I'm going to go through a few pages and think of colour and scratch it all in, and then I'm going to activate it on a different day. So if you're going on an aeroplane, or if you're going to the beach and you didn't want to take your precious pencils or your Neos, you could scratch all your colour in and just take the book with the pages in between and a couple of water brushes, or which would you use? Water brushes are best, and then you could do that in the hospital, or you could do it on an aeroplane, and you're not taking any other things with you. These are staying at home safe, and you've got all the colour you need. The only difference is you won't be able to change what you've already done there. If I'm away and this is too pale, I won't be able to go over it until I come back. They're all water based, so you can add to them. It's the paper that only likes one amount of dampness at a time. So that's my thoughts for these books, and I have all four. I think there's 5, but I have 4. And I have a bit of a problem doing mushrooms because of my mushrooms. For Inktober, I'm making colour pages. So I've had a spot of bother because I don't want to be looking at somebody else's colour pages. This is my first one. I was having a play, and again the dots went through. It's an ink pen, so I've had to pull a piece of spare paper out and put it between. So it's a good idea to do that on any given page that you do. Oh, hi Claudia, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else popping in? So I'm having a play with this, and this is the one I was doing with the kitten yesterday. I have a very hard job on it. There was only one left this week because all the others had gone to new homes. So unfortunately, I tired her out, bless her, but she was so pretty. There she is. She's almost tired, but she just decided to have another bit of a play. So we played and played and played, and the girls cleaned the pens out while I sat and played with the kittens. It's just such a hard job, but somebody has to do it. And she was just gorgeous, and last week she nearly ended up in my handbag. I take a rather large handbag. She was, in fact, she did actually climb in it at one point, but she was just adorable and such a loving little kitten. So I hope they all find wonderful little places to stay. And she was the naughtiest one. There were 3 boys, and my daughter says she looks like she's been drinking milk. She's got a milk moustache because there were 3 or 4 of them that look very similar. So it's a hard job, but somebody has to do it. Oh, is it still doing it, Claudia? Sorry. Let me have a look. See if I can get this mouse to work. Oh, mouse gone. I have a new computer, and they sent me a new mouse that doesn't work. So let me have a look. Hopefully that might be a little bit better, do we think? Is that better, Claudia? And then we have another little girl who, she's been here a couple of weeks. I think she might be, sorry, 3 weeks. And she's going to be the new mascot. She is hiding. And this is little Betsy Doodles, who who was, I think she's about 4 or 5. Just bear with me a second. I'll just turn that down. So it was on that one. Is that any better? Do we think that's any better? I don't know why it's doing it. And I can't get it to... Let me just see if I can get it to find this. It says reduce echo. What does that one do? So if we put... Is that any better maybe? Do we think that might be a bit better? Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you. I'm just having a spot of bother with this new computer. It was supposed to end all my problems, and the mouse they sent me is faulty, so I have to keep tapping it. Because it's gone, you see, it keeps going. So apologies. Right, hopefully that's a bit better. I can't understand why. Unless I just do that. I don't think you can turn that. I have got these turned off. I think that's a bit better. I seem to have a red dot on there. I don't know why I've got a red dot. I can't believe I've got this red... I have a red dot on there, which is very strange. Is that better? Sorry about that. I can't believe that this new computer has made everything worse rather than better. And I completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about the kittens. And so the kittens, and Betsy, because she was keeping my daughter awake, she's just having a straight little girl. She might just come up. Hello, Betsy. Hello, Betsy. So this is our vegetables, and she likes dreamies, and she likes her food, don't you? You can have a sleep. I don't think we've got a cat food left, but she does like her dreamies. She's a bit of a dreamy girl. So this poor little girl she won't take them from you. Nope, she will not take them from you. You have to put them down, and then she loves them. She's very skittish. Now, she does look like she's squashed, but she's got tons of room behind there. And she's got the big bed here, but she wants to be here because it's warm and it's near me. And so she doesn't mind a collar on her, a bell. Do you want another one? So she's a little bit frightened, but she was found with all her kittens, and she wouldn't leave them even though they'd all died. And she was found curled up with them all, so she was very traumatised. And she wasn't eating particularly well, so we decided that she'd have to come and just have a little bit of one-to-one. Oh, thank you. I'll have a look at that. So she likes her ears played with, and of course she can sit here. And this is what I did for 2 solid mornings on a Wednesday. And the 3rd morning she was still very, very unhappy, so we brought her home so she can, and when you stop stroking it, she grabs your hand, so she wants you to carry on. But I thought she could sit here. So she's getting a lot better, but she does like her dreamies, and she's had quite a few this morning. She's a bit of a dreamy girl. So she's I always do it when I pick up my phone. Right, I see. So I won't do that then. I should leave my phone away. It's supposed to be on charge, but I'll pop it away. Right, thank you for that. I didn't realise it would do that. Yes, well, I wanted to show the picture of her, of the little kitten when it finally went to sleep. I do it really, really quickly. I'll turn the volume off while I show this. And because she was the only kitten left, she's eating her biscuits now. You see, she does like her food. Just like Betsy Doodles. She's a little gannet, bless her. So she's getting better, but she was waking my daughter up during the night and keeping her awake. She's going to college, so I'll leave a couple of those out for her. Good girl. Good girl. She likes her dreamies. And it's really warm behind here because, of course, that's where it is. So she's still a little bit skittish, but she's quite a happy girl. And my daughter's given her an old jumper, although she's got a nice blanket. This was so she could smell my daughter, because she's seen my daughter for a few weeks. She's been at the cattery for quite a while. And she was really, really scared. She wouldn't come out of here for weeks. So now she's come out. So she's getting better, and she started to clean herself as well. So she's getting, every day she gets a little bit better. And she met Sooty the other day. So during the day she normally goes upstairs, but she's still frightened of every noise. Bless her. She's definitely a good girl for eating, so she's getting better. She's getting better. It's just taking a long time, but I think it's because when she came in there were so many kittens and she could hear them and see them, and I'm not sure if it's the same for humans, but I didn't think it was the right environment to have watched all these noisy kittens playing about and being fed, and the mother's purring, and of course she's there thinking, well, I know I've had some somewhere, but I don't know where they are. So I was having a play. So what I usually do is I'll take my sketchbook, and this is what I've been doing for the last few weeks, is taking my sketchbook, and I sit drawing with my ink pen, and I'm stroking a cat with my other hand. So this is what I've been doing. So I'm planning for my Inktober. This is going to turn out to be a bit of a waffly video, but I need to make my little blackberries. Oh, they're not blackberries. They're kind of what do they call them? Doodles and elderberry brambles. So I'm having a play ready for Inktober, and then I'm hopefully going to try and get one out every day so we can upload it and colour it in. Now, I'm away 2 weekends. Some of the things I like and some things I don't like, so I'm having to have a bit of a think and a play. But because my hands are really bad, what I want to do is try and get them digitally on the computer, so I can play. And I've had a bit of a, I think it's me, I think I did this video the other day with the pastels, and I do like the other doodles, so there's quite a doodles appearing, and I bought this little contraption here, and I think it's me, it's probably me, but what I've been doing is you draw on it, and again I thought I would take this with me and leave the sketchbook at home because it's a bit heavy. The only problem is this is an A5 and this is A4, so this is printer paper size, but I'm pretty sure that if I can and my technology at the moment is failing, that if I can just make it double the size with the pixels, it should be okay. So it'll be printer paper size, and by doing it on this, it's a lovely little ice scheme tablet, but you can draw with it. Now you do need and this cost me quite a lot of money, so I was a bit disappointed, but I'm pretty sure it's me. It works by magnets, and you have little clips to clip your things down. Now I bought extra pens, and I've been taking pens to pieces because I can't really draw in biro anymore. It hurts my hands, so I'm taking this to bits, and I've been using it because they're a little bit easier. Now I really would like to get my ink pen to work, which they're here. This is what I normally carry with me. So I really would like, I'm desperately trying to get one of these to work. So I'm going to have to destroy one of these old ones so that I can get this magnet onto here, because it's almost the same place. I just need a bit bigger one. So I might have to kind of shave off a little bit with a scalpel, but if I could get this to work on here, oh, I would be such a happy girl, because I can just about draw with this ink pen. And it makes a difference when you're colouring it in that you've got a fine line. It does make a difference. Oh, bye Shalene, welcome to have a good day. Oopsie. So it works by magnets, so when this is turned on, you can't have your pens on top, but this is obviously turned off. And the beauty of it is that you have a biro, and you also have the white one. So you get your A5 and you clip it on, and you press a button, you turn it on, and you press a button, and you can, I think it's about 2,000, if not more, pages does it say. So I'm drawing it in biro, so I have a hard copy. I have this copy, and then it stores it. So I can either press this button and make another page, or I can press this button and have up to about, I think it's 10 layers, 8 to 10 layers. So you could put the mushrooms, and you could put leaves, and you could build layers up. And then there's a couple of apps that you can use, either a laptop, a computer, or an iPad. Now my daughter lent me her iPad mini, and I would love an iPad because then it would work perfectly, but I can't. The iPad minis don't have as much oomph as an iPad, so that's a bit disappointing, but it would have been really good because this particular case has a separate pocket for, and it connects wirelessly with an iPad, or you can connect it with a wire to your computer or your laptop. So it's a really good little thing. I wish it was A4, and I wish I could use my ink pens, then it would be perfect. But the idea is that if you spend, and these take quite a while to draw out, when they upload to the app, the whole drawing is then digitalized, and it becomes a small short video of the actual of you drawing it. So however you've drawn it, it appears, and I can't show you because I'm getting interference at the moment, and I can't get it to upload to YouTube, so I'm sure it's me, but there are two apps, and they don't work brilliantly for this. So this is Image Ink, and then there's a graphic kind of tablet kind of way to go. So this is the tablet app, and this is how it appears, and then it's supposed to pick up, when you turn it on, it would pick up the videos. Now I seem to have lost mine, and it will play them, but I haven't turned it on because I have a lot of metal things on here, so it's not a good idea. That's the only thing you've got to be careful with, is everything has to be quite a long way away from it. But it's a good little app, and it does what normal ones do, drawing, and you've got some things. It's very basic, but it's good. And of course it works with your slate, so that's quite nice. But the idea is you can take this with you instead of this huge book, and it will store them digitally. So in here I have this little mini, and then I have 2 little sketchbooks. I have mine, and then you are actually given, and of course in here I've also put the pens and the pencil, and they come, as I say, with these rings ready on there, so you don't have to calibrate them. They are normally really good. I think I've taken the sketchbook out. There's a little sketchbook with it, and it's an A5. I don't know what I've done with the sketchbook, but it's not there, so it's obviously been bobbed somewhere else. So I was hoping that this was going to have everything I wanted it to do, but I'm pretty sure it's me that's not using it correctly. Oops, and I don't know what that ping was either, so apologies for that. It does scratch quite easily, so I had to buy the cover. I didn't want to because I paid extra. I had to pay extra for my extra postage because I didn't buy it the first time, and then a few days later when I scratched it, realised that I really needed the cover. So I thought that would make things a little bit easier, and then I would only be drawing them once. But I think what I'm going to have to do is draw them, and then I'm going to have to, the old-fashioned, upload them, scan them in, and then upload them. So it wasn't quite the perfect thing I thought it was going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's me, because just at this moment my computer skills are failing quite fast. So I've attempted to colour a couple of them, and I don't like them, so I think I'm going to have to get something that I like before I can upload it. So I've got a couple of days before the 1st of October, so that's my October, and as I say, I've got a couple of weekends away. So I did think I'd try on this ivory paper, but it's a bit thinner. It's an what we call A4, which is 8.3 by 11.7 inches. So that's 8 1/4 by 11.5. And I do like ivory coloured paper. I'm the same with the colour books, and there's something about ivory paper is quite nice. So as I say, I've got to put this between because it's a bit thinner than the other sketchbook paper. But this is Indian ink. It's proper drawing ink, so it's quite strong. And I do like to use it in my 0.25 and my 0.18 isograph, rotary isographs. Oh, bye, Rika. Thank you for popping by. Have a good day. I think my new computer is playing up, so I'm not a happy girl. So that's awful about what I'm going to do for October. So I'm going to have my Hannah Karlzon books pre-coloured with dry colour, and then I don't have to take anything. I can take all these books, and they're going to keep me going for quite a while. both with sketches and with that. But I probably will take the tablet so that I can probably get you a little bit better. So I need to do extra things for that. So that's my little plan. And again, I do like these bright colours. So that's going to bring me right back to what I was doing here, is looking at these really vibrant, bright colours. And I don't know if they're going to be this, but one thing we can do, which you can't do with watercolour, is we can mix as many colours together as we want. So you never get mud. And you can't do that with watercolours, because if you get more than 3 or 4, you get dull greys. So again, that's really, really nice to do. And I've forgotten which book I was in. I think I was in... So the problem is doing mushrooms. I'm trying to keep away from other people's mushrooms. So there's and there's bluebells on this one. So again, I'm trying to keep away from things that look like mine. Because I don't want, when I'm doodling, I don't want to be influenced by anything else, really. So what I've tried to do, I haven't done the bunny page yet, so I could actually do the bunny page as well. So I'm going to do this page with the water-based watercolours, and I think I'm going to do this one. Oh, I started this one, and then I think I'm going to do a couple in this one as well, and I can catch up. So that's, I need to catch up because there are so many colour books coming out all the time. It's really hard to keep up, and I should probably make a rule of not to buy one until I finish the next one, but it doesn't always work that way. So back to where we are. I did pick out colour 23, and I'm going to try and call out the colours so that you can match them if you're looking at anything else. So Imperial Purple is kind of a normal, what we'd call just a normal purple. So you can have it full strength, or we can scratch just a bit of colour. So I think I might just go for quite a darker colour. So this is a second, and I'm actually going over the page because I don't have a lot of control, unfortunately. So I wanted some teals in there. So if we have a look here, we've got a turquoise blue, we've got a turquoise green, a jade, there's a juniper, there's a bottle green, but there's also this pale one here, which is water green. There's an oriental blue, Prussian blue is quite nice. And then there's an ultramarine and a delta blue. I think delta blue and blue violet lake. Now sometimes if you're looking here, you can't really tell what they are. So again, I always have my little book of colours. Now I've made bigger squares for these, which is why I broke a few, because I was a bit rough with them. So my Derwent watercolour pencils very rarely come out anyway, because I use them from here. And what I've done is I put my lighter yellows, the oranges, and it's worked out. Actually, the more squares, the extra ones that I really like. Geranium Lake I love, so I've got 2, and I like the carmine and the burnt carmine, so I think I've got 2 of that colour as well. I really like those. Oh, hi, Sideways Designs. So I've got my pale pinks and my darker pinks. I've got my reds and my pinky reds, and on this side I have, I don't know where that's stuck together. I have purples, my cold blues, then I've got my kind of unusual tea blues, a couple of purples, my unusual kind of pale greens, my dark greens and olives, and browns and greys. I think there's my cold browns and my warm browns. And I do the same with the Inktense as well. I like this combination of seeing all these together, because again, this is a rule of three. We've got yellows, oranges and reds, and yet the pinky red is on the other side. So the reddy purples, the pinky purples and the dark purples, again, they're on a rule of three. So these colours would work really well together. Alfie's been a good boy. Alfie's been a good boy. Again, I've got the warm purples and I've got the warm blues, cold blues, unusual green teals, and then I've got my lightish and normal colour, what I would call colour, olive and olive browns, darker browns, and then I've got my really dark blacks, my grey blacks. And I kind of like that because I always kind of do that. I did that again with this Karen Near-Colour 2s. The flesh colours I've left here, which has allowed me to have my light greys and my dark greys. I've got all my yellows from light to almost warm, but they're still cool. And these are kind of warm yellows to oranges. Then I've got my cold reds, so they're your vermilions and your cadmiums, and then I've got my warm reds, which are alizarin crimsons and rubies and raspberry. I've got my pinky pinks, really pinky pink reds, and then I've got my purples. I've got my, again, unusual turquoises, light blues, unusual blues. These are kind of unusual greens as well, and light greens. Then I've got my darker bottle greens, then the turquoises and some really nice greens, my purple blues, French ultramarine, sky blue, and then I have my colder blues. So I've got my midnight blue and my phthalo blue, and I think Prussian blue's there, it's a colder one. Cold browns, so there's beiges there, and then this side there's the siennas and the russets because they're warmer. I've got my olives and my brown olives, and then because I have a different set of neo colours, they're an older version of the neos, but they have the same colours here, but they have a few extra, and I think they use them in the neos, but I haven't got them in the neos, so this looks a little bit different. And these were bought a week after I did this, so I have, and then I decided that I had an extra square, so I put a layer of gold with a layer of silver over the top. So that's given me a kind of a depending on how you look at it. And then these colours, the flash colour, which is light, and an ultramarine, a pale ultramarine, and I don't think they make that one anymore. But I think you could probably find them, but it's something to do with the pigments, I think. And they've changed the colours. So I do like to have my water-based pencils and crayons in my little book. But the main reason, and I've gone on another rabbit trail, is if I look at ultramarine, it's a warm blue. We know it's a purple blue, it's not a cold blue. But if I look here, oops, says she, I'm in the neos. So I get to the blues and I find my ultramarine, which should be on this page. It's there. It's actually, now my colours are slightly out on this computer, but it's a purple. By the time it gets to here, it's a light purple rather than a blue. So I know that I can get these colours from the shades I'm using. Now this one was, I said it was number 23 Imperial Purple. So Imperial Purple is this one here. So I know that when I add water to this, I'm going to get this, because I went over it twice. The first shade would have been here somewhere, but because I went over it twice, I'm going to get this really gorgeous bright purple. And so that's what I like about having this pack, is I can look at a colour, or I can flip through here and think I like that. I can find the colour and I find the number. Now I want the teal colours and the unusual kind of turquoises. So again, this one is Kingfisher Blue. It's number 38. So I can go to number 38, Kingfisher Blue, and I know that when I scratch this colour on here, I'm going to get something about here. If I do one coat, a light coat, I'm going to get this coat. It's gorgeous, rich, right, Kingfisher colour. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hi, Dazzle. Dazzle Desire. I've lost my little furry top. I bought some little... That's awful today, and I've taken phones away and everything. I've turned everything off. I don't know what else I could do. Somewhere, I'm not sure where I put them. Let me have a quick look. I must have lost it on the floor. I've bought a little bauble. It sits over the microphone, and it's supposed to stop. It's supposed to stop it all. And then the phone's been interfering with everything. So again, apologies for the sound. Just have a really quick look to see if I can find another one. When I bought them, I think you get 10 in a set. But it's... Oh, here we are, look. So I got a set of these little things to go over the microphone. So we'll try one of these. I think they're all the same size. So I'll pop that over there. I might have to stick that on there. So hopefully that might be better. It's a bit better. I'm really disappointed with my new computer. I'm disappointed with my new little tablet. I'm just disappointed with everything. Everything technology-wise has let me down this week. So I'm a bit of a miserable sausage, I have to say. Except for the fact that I had a wonderful late birthday. Dee Dee sent me this. How wonderful. And it was made by SOUNDHanna. Isn't that amazing? It's sparkly. So that's going on my... It's greener than this. My colours are out on my computer. And I love this because it says, advice from a sea turtle. Swim with the current. Be a good navigator. Stay calm under pressure, which I don't. Be well travelled. Age gracefully, and spend time at the beach. And I love it. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Didi, for sending me that. That's wonderful. It's gorgeous. I wish the colours would come. They're beautiful colours. And then they're sparkly. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? So I have a little card last year for my birthday, so that will be going up in my new studio. So I want to keep it safe, but isn't that just gorgeous? Isn't that wonderful? So that was the waffle, and we've Suzanne is our new baby girl. Betsy, I've got to be careful I don't frighten her because she's... Hi Betsy. No, so Betsy's here, and she's a bit of a dreamy girl, so she might come out and have a dreamy. Betsy, she's had so many of these, but she was found with all her kittens, bless her, and all the kittens had died, and she was cuddled with them, and she wouldn't leave them. Betsy! But she likes her food. So it's taking a long time, but she's doing really well. She lets me play with her tail now, which she didn't do. Is that your tail, Betsy? Betsy Doodles. This is Betsy Doodles. So we're having it's a bit of a cat. Have you eaten all your biscuits as well? You've eaten all your biscuits as well. But she knows the difference between the Dreamies and cat biscuits. But you've eaten quite a few of those as well. She does like her food. Good girl, Betsy. Betsy Doodles. She's beautiful. So this is our Betsy Doos. And she likes snuggles as well. You're going to finish those off? So she was in here for weeks, but she's come out now. She just wants to go back in there. But she does like my daughter's jumper. Hello, darling. Hello. So this is our Betsy Doodle. So she wants me to stroke her all day, all the time. And it's the first day she's been on the desk. So there we go. Good girl. You got your tongue out, missus. You got your tongue out. So this is our Betsy Doodles, who just loves her ears tickled. Yes. Yes, she has. You're going to have another one. Oh, you are spoilt, miss. You are spoilt. So this is our new girl. Oh, that's the first time she's done that. And then, of course, under the desk, we have the terror. I think everybody's saying refresh and it's better. So, is Alfie. And he knows that she's about, but he has no idea where she is. So it's a bit of a madhouse because we've got to pick up. But she's got the whole back of the computer there, and she likes to be behind there, hidden. So, and my new computer is misbehaving. So apologies for that. It's a wireless one, Suzanne, so it should be okay. Is it still being funny? Yeah. I do have an old one that I may have to go back to. So she's just settled down now for a bit of a sleep. Bless her. But she wasn't particularly happy in the cat with all the kittens in the pen, because there was just so many kittens running around and playing, and the mums were feeding them and washing them, and I kind of felt a bit sorry for her, so we brought her home. So thanks for joining me, guys. Hope everybody's alright. So this is a live stream with live cats and dogs and people all having a natter in chat. Alfie's been a good boy and Dexter's in the other room. So I will eventually do a page, I promise. I'm going to try and zoom in with my not behaving mouse, which has now gone dead again. So it's not a happy mouse. This is my new mouse that they gave me with the computer, and it's not behaving. So I'll zoom in. Now the other thing's happened is this Logitech thing has changed, and I don't like it. So again, I'm not sure what that's about either, so that may have something to do with the sound. And we'll put automatic focus on it. Oops, wrong way. Oh, that must be upside down then, bear with me. Right. So, very strange is this new system. Don't like it at all. So it's definitely not yeah, it won't, it just will not behave itself. So for some reason this thing has changed. Oopsie. So I have to do it manually, which is not, that might be okay. Everything seems to have gone. Yes, I've had several new batteries in it. I've got several new ones. And they sent it with the new one. That's the one they sent it with. So I'm not sure what's happening at all today. It's one of those Monday morning blues, but on a Thursday. Traffic. Oopsie, no, that's not. Whoa, sorry. Oopsie. The traffic is right outside the door. So I'm scratching a bit of colour. So I'm using this is Kingfisher Blue number 38. So in theory I'm going to get this nice rich colour here. And again, because I don't have a point, I've done edges, but I also have kind of little flat areas, so that's quite nice because sometimes I might not want. Now this particular one I'm going to do all the same, but the next page I'm going to show you that you can mix as many colours as you want together. And it doesn't matter, you will not get mud. And this is, I think, the only pencil, just that watercolour pencil. If you mix watercolours together more than one colour, you get mud. Here you don't. So I really like that colour. Pop that back, and then I'm going to have a quick look at this one. This one is the top one is water green, but jade green is quite nice. So I'm going to go for jade green, which is number 41. And this is what I'm going to do the background in. So I'm not sure, but this could be, and again I won't know until I activate it with either a damp rigger. Probably this one I'm going to use the Derwent number 1 fine water brush, because I'm going to do this while I'm away. And it's a bit scratchy, so apologies for that, but it's because my hands aren't particularly very well. And I'm pressing down quite a lot. So I want a solid colour, so it's going to be really, really bright. And there is a little bit of dust particles appearing, so that's how strong I'm getting that colour on there. So I'll obviously do one practice page, because if you did the whole book and then you hated it, then you'd be a bit cross with yourself. So that was jade number 41. So I think we might want a little bit of a pink thing going on. So I have a violet here, so I think I might have the red violet. So you could either put a little bit at the end and have a watercolour effect, but as I say, for here I'm going for this particular one, strong colours, which I don't normally do, so we can kind of really get a sense of very rich, full colours. So if you were looking at this, the colours will be on this end all the time. These really rich, strong colours. I think the next one is going to be the French. Sorry, it's not French ultramarine, it's just ultramarine. So that was violet. Now I have a dark violet as well, but I think I'm going for Ultramarine number 29. So I want a very flat colour if I can. Get to base all the. It does sound rather strange. It doesn't sound like a pencil, I have to admit. So apologies for the noise. And then I think I'm going to go back to my reds, and I've got a rose madder. Again, I can't make my mind up, so I'm going to have a quick look. The light violet is quite pinky. It's a pinky purple. I think these are too red. I don't think I want it that red, so I think I'm going to go for Imperial. Oh, I've used Imperial Purple. Oh, so that'll be that colour. So I do want a lighter one, and I want a pink. And so we've got 22 Rose Magenta is a traditional bright pink. So this is the Hannah Karlzon. I think this one's Magical Dawn. Oopsie, Magical Dawn. And I've decided that I start at one page and just work through the book. So this has been scratched with Neos, which I did on a video last week, and this one is going to be scratched in the Derwent watercolour pencils. And now I have seen the magenta. It's called Magenta. The top one is Madder Rose, the bottom one is number 22 Magenta, so it's this one. And I think that's going to look quite good. And then again, if you want to do this, you can. Now I'm getting a full colour. There's a really rich full colour there because I want these to be as vibrant as can be. And if I look in seasons, these colours here are quite bright. These are hydras. So I have hydras and I have peerless in here, and they're extremely bright and vibrant, very, very bright colours. I think that one was pencil. I think that's what I did last week. That was the Inktober pencil, I think. No, that might be the Neo because there's gold on the key. You can see the gold shimmer. The gold key is shimmer, and that's because I use from my book. And again, I think that was quite nice. So what I was having a very quick look at is I wanted to just have a look for a yellow, because I think we just want so either yellow. So we've got Naples Yellow number 7. This really nice, rich, and there's middle. I think middle chrome actually looks quite nice. It's number 8, and there's a deep chrome as well. That's more of an orange. This is probably almost a gamboge, I would say, almost a gamboge. And I want full colour on this, so apologies for the squeaky. So I want to know just how vibrant I can get these delicate watercolour pencils, because I know how pale I can get. And again, that's sometimes nice to look back on your books and see what colours you've used. And I do need my magenta back there because I've missed a little bit there. And of this, you don't have to think about your colours, you're making them up as you go along. I've been playing with this headset for 2 hours before I came this morning, so it's nearly going out the window. I could so apologies if it's a bit yuck. Now I always use gold, and I'm going to use the gold again. So this is the Naples yellow, and this is the gold one, and I'm going to use this for the kind of highlight behind there. So gold is number 3. So I'll start at the top, and this is where sometimes I have difficulty. But I wanted to show you different techniques in different books. So again, this is why I can't really use pencils, because it's the action of actually gripping a pencil. So I have actually picked up a few pencil kind of holders. I thought that might work, but of course today, and that would be a bit of a pest because you'd have to take it off every pencil and put it on every other one. So an option really for a live stream. I think I'm going to go paler. So if I have this one on the outside of the and I am pressing on, I am getting the fullest amount of colour on there that it will take. Has anybody got any questions? So I think this one is Magical Dawn by Hannah Karlzon. And these new ones, I'm starting at the beginning and working my way through page by page, because I want to kind of do them like that. So inside is normally kind of it normally has a little bit of a colour in it, so I think I'm going to use number 9, the deep chrome. So it's not the darkest I could go, but again it's gonna give that really warm heat of the inside of a candle, I think. And I think I might go lighter with the outside, I'm pretty sure. So again, I'm going to look at my colours and decide that it wants to be fairly warm, I think. So I'm going for cadmium, deep cadmium number 6. So it's still quite warm. I thought that was in the wrong place. It's deep cadmium number 6. That's right. And there's going to be a slight difference, probably not too much, but a slight difference. And apologies for the rumbles, we have roadworks directly outside my window, so apologies for that. Again, I'm not sure if you would contaminate the page across, but if you put a little bit of greaseproof paper, or the best thing to buy is either cheap photocopy paper, or you could have baking parchment that comes on a roll that you line cake tins with, or tracing paper, anything that's not too expensive, but printer paper is probably the best. So the other thing is this is, you've got your printer paper or your tracing paper with you for every page. Dear. You will obviously be working on sections that's already got colour, so perhaps I should use my tracing paper there while I'm covering in, and then I'm not going to damage that. Yes, I think this is, I've got English in everyone apart from this one, which is Seasons. I think that's right. And I'm going to just do this dot. So again, you can move the paper so you're not you haven't got your hand on your work, and it's a good way to work. Sorry, I thought that was Alvy for a minute. Bless him. Right. So I do have a straw, so I think I might actually do this candle. I think we might give it just a little bit of colour. I'm actually tempted. I am just a little bit tempted to change this to a red candle. So I could have, let me have a look at these. I could have a Scarlet Lake, geranium, my favourite colour. So I could have Geranium Lake number 15. And I could have Scarlet Lake. So they're kind of not warm, but one's kind of an orange colour. And perhaps, and again, if you want your edge, you can get to the edge by using, oopsie, I didn't even know that was there. I don't even know what that was. Something strange just went. I don't know what that is. So I shall. My setup is only temp because, as I say, we're going to go hopefully in the new studio. And have that one. And this may work, or it may not, but it should work with the rule of 3. We've got kind of a yellow going on. We've got an orange going on. Oops, you see, I've got a bit of a fat end on the end of there, but there is a corner, so I can use that. Now, it's not going to last forever, but it saves me sharpening. Now, as I say, I am pressing on because I want rich, deep, strong colours. I want to see if I can get these as vibrant as all my other watercolours, because that means that these would be the ultimate watercolour pencil, because you can get almost near Inktense, peerless, but you can get the soft watercolour as well. So, and as a pencil, this is how you would use them, and this is why I'm struggling a little bit, but it'll be fine for... Oh, that's interesting. Dazzle decides that even though they are watercolour pencils, do they still have the toxic pigments of regular pans or half pans? I don't think so, and I'll get the little book out and tell you. I'm pretty sure they don't, but I need to double check. And apologies, I woke up this morning with not only technical issues, but I woke up with a very nice cold, so apologies. Now, I don't normally, and I won't probably use them like this again, I don't think, because it's really painful, but as a one-off, and it's a very small page, it's not too intricate. This is why I've given all my pens away. Excuse me. So I quite like those colours. And that's number 16. Now, I've had mine a long time, and they're splitting. But that's something about the pencil case before I decided to put them in my proper pencil case. So I've got this kind of strange new thing appeared on my computer, which is not on anything else for my Logitech, and it's very strange. I've not seen it before, so I've got a bit of a problem with that. No. Is the purple that I use. There's a dark violet, I think dark violet, and the dark violet is number 25. And what I'm going to do with this, there's not much about apart from the. I didn't really want to think about shades and pastel shades and watercolour shades. Bear me a second. So if you do it lightly, you get this effect. But again, I want to go for this really rich colour, and so I know that's going to be really dark. So even though I'm going for strong colours, I can still think about shadows and highlights and things. So if you just turn it slightly, you get another corner. Oh, thank you, Dazzle. Thank you. Yes, Suzanne, I think it tells you on the paper. There's a leaflet inside, but I've had mine such a long time, but I am pretty sure the new ones are non-toxic. I'm sure I've read that somewhere. I will check that, but I am pretty sure. So I'm going to do this one not quite as dark. And again, it's lovely to have no point because I've got flat, so I don't have any pencil lines. It's a funny noise, but I don't have any. And then I'm going to do this one the same as this one, I think. You see, I got on a sharp edge and I had a pencil line. So that's a little bit easier on my hands, but I wanted to do that. So what I'm going to do is this. I've got that mid-tone there, and I'm not putting anything on this one because when I've coloured this one in, there's going to be a little bit of colour on the brush. I'm just going to touch this and it will be enough. It'll just knock that off. And so I'm just going to move that to here and down a tiny bit there. And again, if I ever bring out my book, I will be doing it where we have a spiral and you don't have these silly corners. So I want that to be quite dark, that to be very dark. It's so difficult on an edge, really is a bit of a pest. But these will melt like the Neos, they will go to beautiful watercolours. So even if you did get pencil lines, you don't have to panic. So again, I want that one dark. I can feel my strip moving, not moving, but I can feel it's there because my wood is quite old. And of course, once you've got the colour, you can manoeuvre it to where you want it, so you don't always get to the edge if you don't want to. Sorry, the light's just gone that little bit yuck. It's the angle of the camera, so apologies. It's the angle of the camera, so I'm going to have to move the book. I'm going to put a little bit more dark down here because I just want some really, really dark facets, and then I had pale there and fairly pale down there. And then what little's going to be on there, we'll do that top highlight. And then it will just knock that down slightly so it doesn't look like everything else. Also, says she got them in a wooden box. I think I got mine in a wooden box, but that's because it was the last set. But I've had mine a long time. But I love the wooden boxes, but my husband's just put them in the caravan because I can't use them. I just cannot use them, so they've gone out. I haven't thrown them out because my daughters will probably use them for something else. They'll put pencils in them, and when anything happens to me, they'll probably put these back in because these will not be used. These will not be used in my lifetime. They might be, I suppose, but again, I'm having a lot of problems. Apologies, shoes. Apologies. I made Suzanne buy these, but they are beautiful pencils. As I say, I think they are in purple. They've got purple. Like the Inktober, they have a really rich blue. I did say I was going to do a comparison, but I'm just I have to keep telling myself I do not need anything else. But I do love the peerless, and so I need to get some more peerless because they're very easy to use at the moment. So I'm hoping it's just going to be winter time that the hands are being a bit naughty. I'm hoping they're going to come back. And again, these little tiny triangles, when this colour gets on the end of the brush, touch to get colour into these, you just make a mess. Oops, like that. So I don't have to do that. I can maneuver to get some really nice. So we've got some. Oh, they've got another couple here hiding. And again, if you want to think about highlights and shadows and pale, you need the same facet has to be the same. Oops, paleness. So again, go down there and then the top leave. Another butterfly. So we have a really nice, I think, I want this to be a really bright colour, so I'm just a brilliant matter, and there's Lake. Crimson Lake might be nice for the beads, so we'll go with Crimson Lake. Got dark violet away, and we'll flip and get Crimson Lake. I think I've used Crimson Lake something. It's another little kind of bug thing on there. I thought that was a So they'll have to be the same because they've got the same pattern on. So it's going to be difficult remembering what that one was. I think that was magenta. So Crimson Lake. I think I'd like, unless we have some green beads. We could have green beads. We could have emerald greens. Oh yes, we're going to have some emerald beads. So forget that Crimson Lake. And we've got number 46 emerald green. Suzanne says it was DD with the DD Inky Well. Coffee and art in the morning is our other enabler. And look what she sent me. Isn't it gorgeous? It was my birthday card from Sandra. Isn't that delicious? Sparkly turtles, and I love it because it says advice from a sea turtle. Swim with the current, be a good navigator, be well, age gracefully, and spend. I love the colours. I love the colours. My colours were a little bit off. So I love my little birthday card. So that was gorgeous. So thank you, Dee Dee, for sending me that. It made my day the other day. my birthday card. So again, I'm putting quite a lot of colour on here. If you just scratched a little bit, that's what you'd get. But I don't want that. I want vivid colours. Now, if I was using them at home, to get the true, proper, bright colour, you would touch the end paintbrush with the end of the pencil with a damp brush and colour it in. But this particular way to work is scratch the colour in and leave the pencils at home, and then you're just taking a water brush. So it's probably not the easiest thing to do on this particular page, and it definitely isn't the easiest thing for me. Now luckily, wherever I go now with the wheelchair, I can actually throw a bag over the back, so whoever is pushing me puts the bag at the back. So I don't have to worry about weight, but a long time ago I used to, so carrying a full set of pencils used to be such a pest. And I used to have a trolley, I think the kind of scrapbooker's trolley that you go to scraps with, and I used to have it full of pencils and pens and watercolours and brushes and everything else, and it weighed nearly as much as the suitcase when I went away. So I decided that it was a bit silly, and sometimes I didn't have a chance to even look in it, so it got a bit silly. So this way you can fill your whole book if you're going somewhere. And if I was younger and going to the beach, I wouldn't really want to take these to the beach, and I certainly won't want to take the Neos because they'll melt. They are wonderful colours, but they will melt. And I'm going to have to make myself a drink in a second because I'm getting a little hoarse. Look, I think that was the dark purple. I thought I'd used Kingfisher Blue. Oops, I've slipped into the ink tents. No wonder I was doing that. So having a look. Right, so we want nice blue. Oh, we've got a I'm going to do these two bugs here. So same ones was on their tails. And I think the other one was magenta. Oh, excuse me. So we have magenta was the pink on the little bugs, I think. If you don't want to press on too much. Tiny space, just leave it, because you will have bright pink on the end of your paintbrush. Excuse me. Sorry, there could be a bark alert. Sorry, somebody's just... I think he was going a bit fast. They are so just outside. I'll out a little bit, and then with my mouse that's not working, it's gone dead again. And you can see oh dear God, silly sausage. I know they say a bad workman blames his tools, but silly. So you can see really how vibrant they are. So you can see there. Oops, sorry little puss, I woke you up. Oh, let's see. Sorry, pig. We'll just see, oopsie, out of the window, a huge green wagon. And he only just stopped. The traffic light is just by my... It's gone now. So I wasn't impressed with him pipping. The last thing we need is pipping when we've got an Alfie. I need to put that on there to protect that page. Excuse me. So they're really vibrant, but they are just pencil. But I'm hoping that when they are activated, they're going to be as bright as the Hydrus, and that would be wonderful then. So I don't know if anybody else has seen the really oh sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. Betsy Doodle's just woken up, bless her. I just disturbed Betsy Doodles. Did I disturb the Betsy Doodles? She's nice and warm there. And she's not hiding under the bed anymore, so that's good as well. That's good as well. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Hope it's okay. And this is a live stream with live people and a live postcat on the desk and a live outfit on the desk. And this is a new edition, Betsy Doodles. The Betsy Doodles. Who's not impressed? She has the full length of the desk behind, and I've got a little tiny slither in the front. But she's very, very timid, so she has to come out when she's ready. I think this was Kingfisher, which was number 38. So you can see me bit in 38 is up here. Getting worse by the minute. So I'm just going to have to make myself a hot drink and try to... But if Alfie jumps onto the seat, he's going to see Betsy Doodles, and he's then going to want to be on the desk because he's the babe. So the next page I do, I'm going to do it in a watercolour effect. So there's going to be a little bit of colour scratch with a damp rigger and a little bit of dust. So again, that's colour that I'm wasting. But I wanted to see just how vibrant we can get these. So we had a purple, I think it was I think that was dark violet. Oh, it was imperial. It was imperial purple, which is on its own at the top of that one. That's number 23. So that was the little circles. So because these bugs look all, or moths look all identical, I'm doing them identical colours. Now, I don't know if that's the right way to do it. I don't normally, but it's making a little bit different. Excuse me, my throat is getting worse. And we now want the Kingfisher. We want Jade Green number 41. And that was this one. So you could do one layer and then go back and do another layer. And you probably wouldn't want to do this for a page that you weren't going to colour at home, perhaps. It's just to show that you could if you wanted, but it all depends on if you like bright, vibrant colours or pale pastel colours, watercolour effects. But the idea is to find out how are we these gorgeous pencils. I went to blow my nose on the tissue and I pulled the tissue, the clean tissue that had all the shavings. Sometimes you just know you are going to have one of those days. So now I am completely covered in shavings. So all that fuss of getting it all in a neat place. So it may as well go on the floor. So I shall be back in just a second because I will have to have a drink now because I have dust everywhere. Look who we have. Sitting desk. Were you looking at the puss? Were you looking at the pussycat? That's Bitsy Doodles. Come on, Dad, get down, please. Thank you. Good boy. Oh, I cannot believe I did that today. So, I made a mess everywhere today. It's just going to be one of those days. So, feel a bit better now. I have a hot drink. Just 2 seconds. Oh, Suzanne. I'll start coughing. I cannot believe I did that. I have a whole box of pretty tissues, and I picked up the one with all the little bits in, and I've been so careful not to make a mess. So actually I was dreading that. I kept pushing the chair under, but I was dreading him looking at her. She hasn't got her head out, you see. She's gone behind. She's fast asleep. So he can see it. So he can see her, but that's really good because he's getting better with us. It's good. Yes, you wouldn't have called him a sweetheart if you'd been... He was a naughty boy. He's just has his moments. Doesn't he, Suzanne? Yes, naughty boy. During the night, I was woken up to the sound of the dancing bell. Oh, hi Flint Rock, welcome to Bunny's Design. Rebecca, anybody else popping in? And the trainer pad there, and then he must have moved one. It was a trainer pad. Louise there. It's a sausage. He's not precious, Suzanne. There are other words for him. Precious isn't one of them. Especially when he wakes you up. So you know. And you say, Alfie, you're going to miss the pad. No. Yes, he's special. But I think there's other words than precious for him. Bless him. But I'm really pleased that he's not bothered the cat. So that was number 41, Jade Green, and I kind of like the fact that the bugs are going to be the same, and they look quite bright as well. Now, do remember, and I always think this, and I don't think I've ever used them just as a pencil. They're a pencil, and they blend. And there's another, I don't think it's the Colour Soft, but the first ones they had, and I'll have to double check, but there is another set of what we call ordinary pencils. So they're not Inktense and they're not watercolours. And they are identical colours to these. And so if you were doing a watercolour, and this is what Colin David Cook did. He did the watercolour, and then he kind of wanted a little bit more kind of contrast on. It was the bird, and it was like a river, like an estuary, so there were kind of rotting wooden poles and wood, and he just wanted some emphasis, so he used the wax pastel pencil that matched these. And so I think it was the, if I remember, I think it was the Sienna, and he'd used it as a watercolour, and then he'd made this look like a beautiful piece of wood, but he just wanted a bit of darkness, richness, and he used the equivalent colour in the ordinary wax pencil. They were wax pencils. Now I don't think they're the new ones, but I'm going to actually have a look and see if they match. I would love a set, but there's no point me buying them because I really cannot use pencils. Even scratching colour is not an option really on a regular basis. So I really can't justify buying those, but that would be an option if you wanted that really, really nice professional watercolour effect. You use these for the watercolours and for the detail. And then you can just kind of emphasize and kind of bring out certain colours with the wax ones. These are Derwent watercolour pencils. Now if you buy the Derwent watercolours now, and I think Suzanne said she'd bought some, they are the same colour, they are round as the Inktober pencils. They've got like a really rich blue strip colour. These were from the 80s, and the earlier ones were silver. I have some silver ones, the first ones I ever had. And the ones on the DVD, on the video, were silver that Davy Cook used. Sorry, just like Suzanne says, he's like a grandchild. When you're tired of him, you can give him back. Yeah, we can't give him. We did send him back, but then he had to come back again permanently. Yeah, I think I'm just a bit of a Derwent nut. I mean, they have been making pencils for the longest time, hundreds of years. And if you ever get a chance to go to the Lake District, there is a pencil factory, there is a museum up there. So they know what they're doing. They do know what they're doing. I just wish they'd bring this out in this form. I really wish they would bring it out with the Inktober and the Graphy Tint and their Derwent sketching pencils as well. I really wish they would do that, because they probably, with their art bars, which are like the Neos, they probably have about 1,000 colours in different mediums, and the pastel colours as well. So if they brought out their pastels, which are 72, their Inktober, all their colours in all their ranges, they would have 1,000 squares of colour. And remember that each square gives 10 shades. That's 10,000 colours, which is probably what I've got in here. Now that's going to blow your little socks off. Now, admittedly, if you wanted to use them as a proper watercolour for doing proper watercolours outside, you would want a full square, a full sheet, a full page of one colour. And then you could take your 72 watercolour in full sheets, and you would be able to do some quite nice watercolour sketches. In fact, I might do that actually. I might get my girls to do that, because I can't use them in this form. And I might get my daughters to make an if that's A5, this is A6. A6 is half of A5, and A5 is half of A4, and A4 is printer size, which is 8.5 by 7 3/4. 8.25 by 11.5. And this is just good quality. Sorry, hubby's home, so there might be a bark alert. And this is good quality sketchbook paper. So if you scribbled a whole flesh one, and then the next one would be the whole next one, and next one, will be in order, you'd have 72 pages. So you would probably fill a book, but that book would mean you don't have to take the pencils with you, and you can also you would be able to do more with it. You know, this I can do a fair amount. Even these small squares, they can a lot more. But if you wanted to go out and do some proper watercolor sketches as a watercolorist, you could do it if you had a full size square. But I think if Derwent brought them out in the watercolours, you would be so much easier to fill a little book like this. And I've got 2 boxes. I can't show you, my husband's just taken to the caravan. I have the wooden box with 2 wooden trays in for the pencils. I have another one for the Inktober ones, so that's kind of this height. And they're quite heavy if you've got bad hands. Beautiful boxes. and they have 3 trays. There's a bottom tray, and you lift 2 trays out. So you've got a tray on your table. I've just made one, darling. Thank you. And so if you brought that out, then oh, sorry, that's a little monster. Alfie, come here. Good boy. Good boy. Come under there. Do you know Daddy's home now and there's trouble? Dexter's deaf, so that's the old boy. Sorry, Alfie won't settle if Alfie is. It's a madhouse, as I say. This is my view when we had the children home from university and college, and when hubby's at work and everybody's about, all the pets just settle down and they know to be quiet. So if Derwent brought this out, I said, which the postage would be cheap, and you could, if I would think maybe £20, if there were a full set, I think they'd be worth £20. I mean, they could coat full sheets, and this is a really nice size, and they could have a little plastic cover and the little rings to clip them in, and it would have Derwent on the front, obviously. And I think if they did that, they could produce that for £20, but that would give you a good play with them. And then if you like them, you would get that money knocked off the full set. And it's a little bit by when you buy a tester pot of certain paint, you could then get the pot knocked off the full size. And I think that would be an incentive. I think that would be good. And also, you would have them both, and then you could replenish this with your new set. If you loved them and thought, oh, I really like these, you could then buy these and have them as pencils and do everything else you do with the watercolour pencils. But you could replenish, sorry, I'm on I'm on the wrong ones, but you could replenish the colours when they get a little bit used. So you would always have this. And I've used a sketchbook paper. It is an extra strength, but it's a sketchbook paper. I've had this for years, and it's not done anything to it at all. It gets wet and it goes back. Now, these are slightly different, but this is an original. This is an original sketch paper stuck on photocopy paper, and I made the little squares because I thought these might go to mush eventually, and I didn't want to waste the rest of it if I've used more of one. But now I know it works. I just make it all in the same shape, all on the same sheet. I don't cut them separate. And you do sometimes use some more than others because you have your favourite ones. And again, apologies, I'm on Inktober because I'm the wrong way around. So I really wish Derwent would do that, because again, they could have a 21st century travel book, a water-based travel book with 10,000 shades in it, which has got to blow anybody's mind. And the wonderful thing about that is, well, these were created a long time ago, we now have colour books. And the other thing is wonderful for students, or for the disabled, or for old people, for kids. You could throw one of these in your school bag, or if you're at university, and you would have thousands of colours to play with. That's when we're doing our books. Now this is big business. Now this is going to be around for a while, I think. And so we need something that's going to give us 10,000 instant colours. They're not mixed. You don't have to mix them. You just have to shove a wet brush on it. And you're going to get 10,000 shades. That has to be pretty mind-blowing for a 21st century travel watercolour set. And I love my little ones, but I can't open up. I mean, we have all these little ones here. That weighs about the same. There's another one I've got down there somewhere. That's the same. But I can't get the brush out. And how many colours have you got in it? I think we've got 8 in here with 6. Now if you're a watercolourist, if you're an artist, you want to mix your own colours. But when we're doing this kind of work, we don't want to do that. If we're at the beach, we don't want to get our gorgeous pans with sand in them. If we're on an aeroplane, we don't want to get these out. We just want to flip and use a damp brush and flip and have all the blues together, flip to pinks, flip to yellows, and then colour, because that's what we want to do. So we need to badger Derwent to do that, to bring out these in this form. That's my other little rant for the day. Hi Kay. Anybody else popping in? Welcome. Hi Diamond. Anybody else popping in for the day? Oh, I'm glad you're feeling better. Yes, Suzanne. She says refills would be better for to just put media stick on stick. We could actually print full sheets, a little bit like peelers do, I would think. You know, this is an ink based, but it's a watercolor. So it's not ink based. It's a watercolor, and it's soaked into a page. Is this? But Derwent could do it, because I've seen the dips for strips. They could just make strips of them. And then, as I say, you know, if you really love them, you could then buy the full set. And you wasted it because you can replenish it, you can re-scratch it, and it doesn't take long. And if you get the grandchildren, they'd love to scribble squares of colour. So you know, you can always get somebody else to do it for you. Now, actually, I'll show you how I did that one, because that was Kingfisher blue that had been missing. Sorry, Iris blue number 90. Is that Inktober, or this is Inktober? I think this is Inktober. Yeah. Oh, so I can't do that. Yeah, it's my iris was missing for a long time. I think it's here. So I think if you buy these now, they are this colour. But again, I think they're rounded. This is a round one. This is the more modern. Oh no, tell a lie. These might be more modern because this strip is bigger. I think this strip is bigger than this strip. These used to be 5 millimeters and 8 millimeters. Now they are 7 millimeters and 4 millimeter strips of colour. Yes, they could, Suzanne. Yes, they could do that as well. Yep. Irish Blue 109 has been missing for quite a while. So that's one layer. And this is another layer. And bear in mind it's tense. And when you put on video, they do not set when you wet them. If you have a little bit of colour scratched and it's been activated with water and all the particles, it will set solid. It will never ever move again. But if I touch this bit here, I'm going to get pale. I'm going to get this colour, even though it's been wet and it's dried. So although you can say that they are set once they are dried, if you have an intense colour, so it does work, but people normally don't expect to use, and I see this is hurting my hands, but it needs to be done, because then it's about 3 layers. Any more and you start to get bits of dust, and you know that's your colour. So you can see the shine, that's got 3 colours. That's full of colour that's going to last quite a long time. And the pencils can go away and be safe. So I'm just going to switch back to my... And again, I have to label everything because I've got so many things in here. But as I say, this particular section, including my I think I've got 124. I haven't got the full set of Caran d'Ache, but you know that's a big box I've just got. The Gansai Tambi watercolours, I love the greens, but they are such a pest in those beautiful little pans. And again, you don't want to take those out because they drop everywhere. Oh, sorry, Kenny. Yes, it's something to do with me again. Let me see if I can redo something. And I've got a new mouse that doesn't work. And tell me if it disappears. That might be better. No, it's come back again. I have a very large red dot here. And I have no idea what it's for. Oh, that might be better. No, it's come back again. I cannot believe it's doing this. I just cannot believe it. I just really cannot believe I'm having such a bad day, so apologies. Doesn't like that one, doesn't like that one. And it won't pick up the camera as normally it brings up the Logitech webcam for its sound, and it's not doing so. It's not behaving very well. Perhaps if I whisper, that might be slightly better. Just have to have a mouthful of coffee. So I am working in. And I want these to be really vibrant. So I've just got the butter forgot what it's called. I think I use chrome. I used gold for that one. I think I use deep chrome number 6 for the, and then I shall I'll work a different way. I'm going to still use the Inktober the Derwent pencils, but I'm going to use them how I normally do, so we get a watercolor effect. I think that one was dark violet. No, that was dark violet. I've got the wrong colour. But never mind, I'll have to do that now. I'll just do that one. That was a bit silly, but never mind. I don't suppose it'll matter too much. And there is just a little bit of an edge, so I can still get a strong colour. Now I know they've got lots of really good pencil sharpeners these days, but so a little bit of pink. I'm going to use magenta matte as well. As soon as we're here, I'm going to use a little bit of magenta. And so my hands don't work particularly well. I think I'll do the spots magenta as well. So apologies for my new computer playing up, because I'm not very happy with it. But I've lost my Wednesdays because I play with kittens. It's a horrible job. Somebody has to do it. Oh, bye Melody, thanks for popping by. Oh, is that better, Suzanne? That's good. Do excuse me, I'm going to cough. So I've just got the lantern. Now we can either have it kind of a I think I'm going to do that a gold colour. And again, I am pressing on quite, so you can tell just how really creamy these are. So they're not quite the same consistency as Neos, but they're, for a pencil, they're kind of creamy. They are really, really nice, and the colour goes on quite nice. Now, remember, I am not actually going to colour this today. This is going to be another. In fact, I thought I could actually do this while I'm away. I'm going to use a different colour. I like this primrose. It's like a bit of a highlight colour. I like that one. So I am really, really scribbling a lot of colour because I really want a lot of colour on there. And this is why I like this thing, because I can go lighter this way or darker that way. So I've got a mid chrome. So maybe not a traditional colour, but you can see. Now when you start to get dust, you know you're wasting your colour. And that's normally with most of them. If you do that with the Neos, you get little bits. If you do it with the pastels, you get dust. So you know that you're doing the right thing, but you just need to kind of move to another section, because when you create dust, you're just wasting your colour. Now the Neos, what you can do, and any other wax-based watercolour crayon, you can kind of squish it down onto the page and you can use it. But it's a bit more difficult with pencil dust. So just put that onto there, and then quite like that. It's going to be really rich, that. I did have a lighter gold there, so I'm going to put, I think I'm going to put that one over the top. And again, you can do this, you can mix as many colours as you want, which I'm going to do on the next section. A different way to use these. The primrose yellow. I think we might just go a bit lighter. You've got to be a bit careful, because if you pick up some purple, it will. I think these might look like jewels, so I think we're going to go for some of these purples, I think, in here. And I forgot the handle, so I need to do the handle. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope everybody's okay. It's a live stream, recorded for stream, hopefully. I'm also recorded for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. So sometimes I get a bit carried away and I miss quite a bit of chat, so apologies for that. I think we're going to have that magenta out. Again, I was inspired by the hydras to do really vibrant colours, but use these really soft watercolours. And we have Madder Carmine, which I really like. I love this colour. Most reds, if it's a pinky red, you can get a really, I'm just going to do that bit in there as well, you can get some really nice shadows. And burnt carmine is also quite nice as well. So again, I'm just going to I don't know if pencils sound like this when you're using pencils. I don't normally have a lot of control over those. And we just want to do the golden handle. And I do like this gold colour. I use it quite a lot. I use it for the windows normally in any colour books that have windows in them and you want a soft glow. I use it, so I do like it. So I'm going to call that finished. Oh, bye Melody, thank you for stopping by. So we've got some really strong colours there, and these are really, this is they're the hydras, so I'm hoping they're going to come out really strong. There's no reason why not. So that's the end of colouring in the Hannah Karlzon Magical Dawn. I'm trying to get some really bright, vibrant colours from Derwent watercolour pencils. So thank you for watching.